Feel the need to re-examine your life? Well, some people travel for a few days to escape, but some also take the risk to relocate or travel for several months to go on what author Tim Ferriss calls as the mini-retirement. And to tell us more about this mini-retirement and why it is best to do it in your 20s, we have filmmaker and traveler Aaron Palabyab, who had his own mini-retirement. Good morning, Aaron, and welcome to
I'm
Daybreak.
happy to be here.
Happy to see you as well.
It's hard coming after a beauty queen, but I'll do my best not to lower your ratings too much.
Well, let's talk about the beautiful sceneries that you've seen in this mini-retirement of yours. So explain to us, a mini-retirement at 20, how is that possible?
Actually, the term mini-retirement, it's sort of buzzwordy. I mean, it's just something it's a word that will generate clicks and views, but all it really means, Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Workweek, just defines it as traveling or relocating for a minimum of 1 month, maybe up to 6 months. And that's a very broad definition. And it just means, I think he calls it mini-retirement because the point is to take yourself away from this
your
box.
Daily routine.
Yes, because you're probably in a box and you don't even know it. And it could be disconnecting you from things that are very important to you. And we'll discuss that as we go along,
Let's start with you. I mean, what was that box you were in? What were you feeling prior to going into this series of countries that you went to? I mean, very briefly, I mean, what was that? What did you have to, as Tim puts it, unplug from?
Oh, well, it was two things. You know, I like to tell my friends that, in your 20s, you're always looking for two things. You're looking for what you want to do and who you want to be with. And I was at the point, well, this is one of the two things. So it's career and relationships. And I was at the point where I was looking at my Facebook newsfeed at age 29, suddenly everyone's getting married and getting engaged. And I said to myself, well, I'm not anywhere near that. And I assessed my situation and I said, wait a minute, there's an opportunity. It's not a bad thing.
So instead of getting married, you went to South America.
Exactly, that's what everyone should do.
That's what everyone should. Okay, just bring us through, because we're showing your pictures of your travels. You started in the US, then you went to, was it Peru?
Yeah, so Bolivia first, and from there we went by land to Peru and then Ecuador, and those three countries are just beside each other, and they're all visa-free for Pinoys.
And then in Peru, I understand, why did you referred to Peru as an unforgettable trip? Why was that so?
Oh, Peru. I mean, they have... It's like they have everything there. Most of these pictures are from the Lares Trail trek. It's a 3-day trek. That's Machu Picchu.
Nice
that's
picture.
in Peru.
Which I understand you really wanted to
Yes, that
see.
was where it all started. I really just wanted to see Machu Picchu. That's also in Peru. Sacsayhuaman. It's just, they have all of this natural beauty. They have, the Andes mountain ranges is in there. But they also have such a really interesting history with the Incas.
Yes.
And all of these things. So, I mean, you just won't run out of things to see. They even have surfing and beaches in the north, which I wasn't able to go to. So,
but you went surfing in Ecuador, and you even honed, or you're now more fluent in Spanish because of it.
Creo que sí.
Hanggang si lang ako. ¿Qué tal?
Sí, muy bien. No podría estar mejor.
Hanggang ¿qué tal lang ako, tsaka muy bien. Pero you seem so very happy. Was it like after this trip that you had, what did you realize then? Did you have to change your life? Because isn't that what also you have to re-examine? That's what Tim said, right? So did you re-examine and found out something?
You know what? Finding yourself has become a cliche, and I'm naturally skeptical of cliches, but I did. I mean, especially, I was at a point before I left where I was at a very good job. It's like, it's the kind of job filmmakers work to get. I was directing commercials. And just despite my mind telling me that I should stay there, I mean, there was just something, it just didn't feel right. And even though they're lovely people in the industry, they took care of me, I had to disconnect from that and ask myself, why do I feel this way? I've worked so hard to get here.
But you're still a filmmaker, right?
I'm still a filmmaker. Just in a separate, that's a long story. But basically, I feel like it recentered me on what I really value.
And what is that?
Oh, wow.
Oh, many things I could see now. But it's always like a good feeling, right?
Absolutely, but it's not without struggle. I'll be honest, the first few weeks being back, I think any traveler I've read, any traveler who travels long, they find it brutal coming home. Doesn't matter where you're going home to. But I think going home to Manila, oh my goodness, I mean, that's something else.
Like you didn't want to come back anymore?
Well, I had to. I was running out of money.
Okay.
But no, I think, you know what? As much as there are people who travel long and decide they want to travel the rest of their lives, I think it's coming back and making something happen that makes travel all the more meaningful. So it doesn't just become a self-centered pursuit. And, I mean, I could go on and on, but I think that if you ask me, one of the things I really value is experiences over things. You know, it's a cliche, but the things we own own us. And then you realize that
it shouldn't be that way.
no. In fact, there was a man who wrote, I think he used to be like something like the founder of Wired.com. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. He's traveled in every style, from the cheapest to the most expensive. And of course, he's a wealthy man now. And he said after everything, he realized that it was still better to have more time than more money.
Ah, wow. Actually, I could hear the silence now. More time than more money. But you know, not everyone has enough time, and definitely not everyone has the money to travel. And we're talking about 1 to 6 months. Does it really have to be at least 1 month to have this mini retirement? And what if you're not already in your 20s like me? I'm already 32. But nobody believes me. But you know, 31. But how can it be? How can we do that mini retirement if we're already not in our 20s, when we have more responsibilities and you know we have a family to take care of? What would you suggest, Aaron?
Well, definitely with, you know, it's not really age, but it comes with people who depend on you. It definitely becomes more difficult. And in terms of concrete steps, I wouldn't be the person to ask. But I've read, especially for example, Tim Ferriss, whom I keep quoting, in the 4-Hour Work Week. And there are other books that I've just, you know, seen on Amazon.
It's in your blog, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's linked in my blog.
I've seen the books that you can read.
There are lots of case studies, but the caveat is that it's really a wholesale paradigm shift. But the point is, it's not impossible, and if you really, really want to do it, there are ways. But one thing I point out in my blog is I understand that, you know, you can't compare yourself to someone from Australia. Like one Australian I was with, they gave him 6 months off from work and he comes back to his job. I mean, that's virtually impossible here. So we can't compare ourselves with them. First world yan eh.
So what can we do? We are us Filipinos. Can we get that re-examine? Can we re-examine our lives in just, let's say, 2 weeks? Or over a weekend?
Over a weekend, that's a little tough.
Okay.
But me, 4 years ago, I traveled for 2 weeks. I was in Europe. I didn't know what I was doing. I was alone. I'd never traveled alone before. It was just your typical 25-year-old emo, whatever. You know, I was heartbroken, wanted to go to Europe. And in that 2 weeks, I did have a similar experience. And it's really all about depth and not quantity. Travel isn't a competition. It's not about checking as many countries off your list. And people treat it that way sometimes, you know, paramihan ang stamp sa passport.
So it should be depth over quantity.
Yes.
And we can read more of your experiences and your travel stories in your blog, right?
Yes.
So for those for those of us who have yet to do what you have done so far, so we can just check on your website and find out more about you.
Yes, okay.
And traveling in general.
Yes, for
Thank
sure.
you so much, Aaron, for joining us this morning.
It's been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, especially for me who have to do more traveling. And now that I'm with you, I guess God is really telling me to do more traveling as soon as possible. Thank you, Aaron. We've just spoken with filmmaker and traveler Aaron Palabyab.